One of, if not the most popular team in regards to rally racing would be Subaru. The Subaru World Rally team would compete in the World Rally Championship across 28 years, securing 3 Manufacturers Championships from 1995 to 1997 and 3 Drivers Championships in 1995, 2001 and 2003. They also had a very brief stint in Formula 1 as an engine manufacturer, with just 8 races during the 1990 season, which many people may not know about. However, they faced major struggles with the car, having a combination of being overweight and underpowered. So the partnership with the Scuderia Coloni ended the same season in which it started. Since then, Subaru has taken part in multiple different racing series, including Rally America, Super GT, Grand Am, as well as the Global Rallycross Championship. Now this just shows how well versed the team has been, but how would they perform as a standalone constructor in the world of Formula 1? So I loaded up F124, created a brand new MyTeam save utilising this incredible Subaru livery, and simulated the next 10 seasons to answer that question. Before we begin, make sure you like the video if you enjoy it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. For the first season at least, the driver pairing will consist of IndyCar race winner Colton Herta alongside F2 race winner of Zane Maloney. The 2024 season somewhat lines up with this alternate universe version, with the McLaren team winning their first constructors title since 1998. Red Bull will finish the season as runners-up, followed by Ferrari and Mercedes, with the new Subaru team finishing in P5 in their debut season. Colton Herta uses his IndyCar experience to finish in P9, with Zane Maloney putting in a strong performance for a P16 finish in his first F1 season. Now just like real life, the Ferrari driver of Charles Leclerc will finish in 3rd place behind Norris and Verstappen, but in contrast to the real F1 season, Max Verstappen would not be taking the Drivers' Championship, instead finishing 18 points behind a brand new winner in the form of Lando Norris. Now despite the 18-point lead from Norris, he was outnumbered in race wins after he took 6 and Max Verstappen would secure 7 across the entire season. The rest of the year was won by Charles Leclerc, who won 2 races, and Oscar Piastri, who won just once. Now at the end of the first season, just like usual, Kevin Magnussen will be retiring from Formula 1, with Logan Sargent remaining in the sport by moving to Haas. Yuki Tsunoda makes the move to the Williams team, with Nico Hülkenberg moving to the Racing Bulls. Haas will then need to sign another driver, with Théo Pourchaire being the lucky one. After the third season, there will also be some small regulation changes, but this will only affect the chassis department. Heading into the second season, and the regulation changes didn't do much to stop McLaren retaining their Constructors' Championship, but it does allow Ferrari to capitalise and move up to second place ahead of Red Bull. The Subaru team maintain their level of P5, with both drivers actually making big improvements, with Herta just missing out on the top 3, while Zane Maloney finishes in P11. The Drivers' Championship also sees a small shake-up, with last season's runner-up falling to 3rd place, behind last season's champion Lando Norris. This opens the door for another brand new world champion, with the Ferrari driver of Charles Leclerc finishing at the top. Leclerc and Norris would be tied for the most race wins this season, with both drivers securing 4, with Max Verstappen not too far behind after winning 3. Oscar Piastri would add another 2 wins to his tally, with Colton Herta securing his first F1 wins to add to his 9 wins from IndyCar. The last race would then be won by the Mercedes driver of George Russell. Another driver set to retire will be Daniel Ricciardo, with Esteban Ocon moving to fill that seat. Fernando Alonso will make his controversial return to Alpine, with Williams driver Alex Albon moving to Aston Martin. Nico Hülkenberg will move team once again to join Williams, with the V-Carb team bringing in Dennis Hauger to make his debut. Subaru will also be swapping driver for the first time, with Zane Maloney being dropped and replaced by Oliver Behrman for future seasons. There should also be a large shake-up going into the results next season, with their aerodynamics, powertrain and durability departments all being forced to change heading into what would be the 2026 season. The top of the Constructors' Championship didn't really see the change, as McLaren will remain on top, with Mercedes jumping above Ferrari and Red Bull to finish just 30 points behind. Subaru has a slight misjudgment of the new regulations, dropping down to P7, with Colton Herta falling to P11 and Oliver Behrman matching Maloney's debut season in P16. The Drivers' Championship does see more of a shake-up, with Oscar Piastri finishing this season in 3rd place after just 1 race win, finishing behind another new face as George Russell finishes in 2nd. The Drivers' Champion will then be Lando Norris once again, returning to the top of the standings. Lando Norris' 6 wins assisted the title win, with George Russell not far behind after he won 5. Charles Leclerc would win 2 races despite finishing in P5, with Piastri, Hamilton and Carlos Sainz all winning just 1 race each. One thing that sets this simulation apart from the others is the fact that Fernando Alonso will be retiring from Formula 1, this time with Pourchaire taking his seat at Alpine and Zane Maloney returning to Formula 1 to drive for Haas. Mercedes and their customer team Williams then strike a deal to swap Nico Hülkenberg and former Williams driver George Russell for next season. Mercedes will have a major drop off this season, falling from runners-up all the way down to P7, with McLaren once again retaining their title ahead of Ferrari and Red Bull. Subaru also fall positions, being overtaken by both Williams and the V-Carb team, finishing in P9. Colton Herta is outscored by his teammate for the first time, as his P16 finish is bested by Oliver Behrman's 7 points and P14. Season 2 champion Charles Leclerc returns to the top 3 to finish in 3rd place, with both McLaren drivers being in a league of their own, with Piastri finishing in 2nd, behind his teammate Lando Norris, who continues to retain his Drivers' Championship. Nobody really got close to Norris after he won a total of 9 races this season, while Piastri would take 5 for almost complete McLaren domination. Max Verstappen also returned to winning ways, winning twice while finishing in P4. Verstappen's teammate of Sergio Perez has decided to retire after not doing a lot this simulation, with Theo Pourchaire once again moving teams, this time to join Red Bull. Alex Albon and Logan Sargent will be swapping cars next season, with the last seat at Alpine being given to Enzo Fittipaldi to make his debut. For the 5th season in a row, McLaren will remain at the top of the Constructors' Championship ahead of Ferrari and Red Bull, with Subaru making the biggest improvement, jumping from P9 up to P5. Herta and Oliver Behrman will only be separated by 1 point, as they finish in P7 and P8 respectively. Finishing this season in 3rd place would be Max Verstappen, and he kinda disappeared from the top 3 but returns for the first time since Season 2. Both McLaren drivers would once again finish in a 1-2, but this time Lando Norris finishes as the runner-up behind Oscar Piastri, who wins his first F1 Drivers' Championship. He managed to take a total of 7 race wins on his way to the title, with his teammate Lando Norris taking the other 3 race wins. The latest driver to retire from Formula 1 will be the Frenchman Esteban Ocon. Now he leaves an open seat at V-Carb, which is then taken by Zayn Maloney, with Enzo Fittipaldi moving to Haas. The Subaru team will also be changing both drivers, with Colton Herta being replaced by fellow IndyCar driver Pato O'Ward, while Oliver Behrman is replaced by Valtteri Bottas, with Oliver Behrman going the other way. The final seat is then given to Frederik Vesti, who will be making his debut at Alpine next season. Joining the new drivers next year will also be some major regulation changes, with the aero, chassis and durability departments all being affected. For once, the regulation changes actually did what they were set out to do, as the reigning champions McLaren dropped down to P4, with none other than Williams returning to championship glory for the first time since 1997. Kick Sauber also have a very successful season, finishing in 3rd place, while Subaru struggle massively, falling all the way down to P10. Valtteri Bottas' first season in the Subaru team was not the best, finishing dead last, while O'Ward finishes in P17 on his debut season. Moving over to the Drivers' Championship, and in 3rd place we'll have a new face, with the Ferrari driver of Carlos Sainz beating out Behrman by race results. Sainz will finish behind both Williams drivers, with Yuki Tsunoda taking 3 race wins to finish in 2nd, behind George Russell, who secures his first title back with his first team after 7 race wins. At the end of the season, Russell pulls a Rosberg and retires after winning the championship. Oliver Behrman will replace him at Williams, with Jack Doohan making his debut at the recently successful Sauber team. Frederik Vesti is also dropped by the Alpine team, with Victor Martins being brought in as a replacement. As the teams start to adapt to the regulation changes, Williams do manage to retain their title, with McLaren closing in to finish as runners-up. Subaru have major improvements once again as they rise from P10 to finish in P6, with O'Ward rising to P9, while Bottas rises to the much-loved P16. Former champion Oscar Piastri rises up to finish in P3, but will still finish behind both Williams drivers. Yuki Tsunoda once again finishes the season as runner-up with 3 race wins, with Oliver Behrman taking his first Drivers' Championship, almost exactly matching Russell's season last year with exactly 7 race wins and 212 points. Now despite his pretty decent performance, Jack Doohan is dropped by the Kick Sauber team, with them re-signing Valtteri Bottas after his lacklustre time at Subaru. Subaru will then sign Nico Hülkenberg to try and revive his career, with the Mercedes team deciding to bring Frederik Vesti back to the sport. At the end of the season will also be some regulation changes, with both the powertrain and durability departments being the ones affected this time. The regulation changes didn't do much at the top of the constructors, as Williams do retain their championship ahead of McLaren and Ferrari, with Subaru continuing to improve to finish in P4. O'Ward actually matches that position in the Drivers' Championship, with Nico Hülkenberg still doing well, finishing down in 8th. Multiple time champion Lando Norris will return to recognition with a 3rd place finish, as the McLaren drivers slowly start to catch the Williams, with Yuki Tsunoda once again finishing runner-up behind his teammate, the back-to-back champion of Oliver Behrman. Behrman will finish with 1 less race win this season, only being able to win 6 times, with Tsunoda remaining at 3, but this season provided a brand new race winner in the form of Pato O'Ward, and at the end of the season, Carlos Sainz decides to retire. Nico Hülkenberg leaves the Subaru team in favour of Ferrari, with Yuki Tsunoda making the move to Subaru. Jack Doohan is then brought back by the champions as he drives for Williams next season. Heading into the penultimate season and the field is getting closer, but Williams managed to keep McLaren and Subaru away to win their 4th consecutive Constructors' Championship. Pato O'Ward falls a few positions to finish in P7, right away behind his teammate. Jack Doohan on his return to Formula 1 is able to secure a 3rd place finish in his Williams car, but will fail the 1-2 due to Yuki Tsunoda's persistence to finish in P2. Even in the new team, Tsunoda will finish behind Oliver Bearman, who will once again take another driver's title. Bearman's race wins have slowed down a little bit after he was only able to take 4 this season, with Tsunoda and Norris winning twice, while Piastri and O'Ward both win once. Now heading into the final season, there will be some driver changes sparked by the retirement of Alex Albon, with the team signing Jack Crawford for his debut season in the last season. Victory Martins is dropped by Alpine after finishing in P22, with Frederick Vesti filling his seat. Mercedes need a new driver as none other than Max Verstappen will team up with Lewis Hamilton for the final season. Now Zhou Guanyu leaves the still pretty successful Kick Sauber team, moving to Red Bull, with Enzo Fittipaldi becoming the newest driver in green. Haas are then forced to sign another new driver, with Ayumi Iwasa being brought in for season 10. There will also be some small changes to the chassis department to try and add a little bit of spice to the final season. Now in the final season, Williams are actually knocked off their top step by the returning champions of McLaren. Williams will only be able to finish 2nd ahead of Ferrari, with Haas making a surprise leap up to 4th. The Subaru team will then end this simulation in the same position that they started, P5 in the Constructors' Championship. Both drivers had a pretty mediocre season, with O'Ward finishing in P9, while Yuki Tsunoda is down in P12. Jack Doohan remains in P3, beating his champion teammate of Oliver Bearman by 25 points. Both McLaren drivers will once again return to finish as 1-2, with Lando Norris getting the upper hand over Oscar Piastri. The 36-point gap included an extra race win for Norris, with his 5 compared to Piastri's 4, with Oliver Bearman rounding out the season with just a single race win. And that is 10 seasons simulated with the Subaru team being added into Formula 1. Now let's take a look at the 10 seasons as a whole to see who performed the worst and who performed the best. Firstly, only 2 teams were able to win the Constructors' Championship, with McLaren winning a total of 6 times and Williams surprisingly winning the other 4. There was a total of 5 different drivers to win the World Drivers' Championship, with Lando Norris winning the most at 4. Oliver Bearman has an incredible season to win 3 titles, while Leclerc, Piastri and George Russell all win just the 1. Now when it comes to race winners, there was a total of 11 different drivers, with Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton winning just 1 race each. Subaru's Colton Herta and Pato O'Ward would win twice, while Charles Leclerc is next with 8. Yuki Tsunoda made double digits with 11, Max Verstappen ended with 12 and Russell ended with 13 race wins. Oliver Bearman is able to win 18 races, with Oscar Piastri winning 21, and Lando Norris takes the most race wins after he took 35 wins across 10 years. But that is going to wrap up today's video, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really want to try and hit 10,000 subscribers at some point this year, so if you're not already, please press the subscribe button to show some support. There'll be loads of links in the description to all my various social media platforms, including my Discord server, which is the best way to receive updates about uploads, but also to talk to me and other fans of the channel. But that is going to be all from me today, so have a good day, evening or night wherever you are, and goodbye.